I am back to share with you guys again part of a chapter out of Mary's book called Immunity, Terrain, and GcMAF. Again, I'm just so thrilled and excited that she has done this book. It's an incredible read. There is so much information in it, but the information is not just super scientific. So she made it so that it is easy for just a regular person to understand. And the chapter that I'm highlighting today is in regards to autism. So I'm just going to read a little bit from it to give you an idea of what's in this book. Autism has never been a simple subject. It is layered with emotion, science, misunderstanding, and personal stories that stretch across generations. There are families who speak about it with pride, others who speak about it with confusion, and some who do not speak about it at all, because the weight is still too heavy. What ties these experiences together is not the diagnosis. It is the universal need to understand what is happening inside the body of a child who is struggling to communicate their inner world. Over the years, autism research has moved in many different directions. Some of those directions have helped children enormously. Others have led to dead ends. Some have offered hope. In the middle of all this, there's a thread that often gets missed, and that thread is the immune system and how the body's internal terrain influences brain development, behavior, inflammation, and long-term neurological outcomes. In this chapter, we will explore the terrain. It looks at how GcMAF aligns with immune regulation, how Nagalase influences the immune environment of children with autism, and why parents across the world are beginning to notice improvements when their terrain was supported. It also looks at why the scientific story behind autism is more complex than simple causes or single answers. This chapter is not written to promote a miracle. It is written to present a biological landscape that deserves to be understood. Autism is not just one condition, it is a spectrum. That spectrum includes a wide range of motor, sensory, gastrointestinal, neurological, and behavioral and metabolic differences. When parents think of autism, they often think first about speech delay or sensory sensitivities. But behind those visible signs, research shows many children also carry immune irregularities, chronic inflammation, gut dysfunction, mitochondrial struggles, oxidative stress, and imbalanced terrain. These are not small features. They are entire biological environments that shape how a child feels, grows, learns, and responds to the world. A healthy immune system does far more than protect the body from infections. It influences neural pruning, neurotransmitter balance, gut-brain communication, and detoxification pathways. When the immune system is dysregulated, children can develop chronic inflammation at levels that may interfere with their development. Some of these children show elevated markers like Nagalase, imbalanced cytokines, or immune suppression in areas where the body should be active. These findings matter because they reshape the way we understand autism. They shift the conversation from labels and behaviors toward measurable biology. This shift is where GcMAF entered the story. GcMAF, known in full as GC protein-derived macrophage activating factor, is part of a family of molecules that support immune activity, specifically macrophage activation and regulation. Macrophages are essential for immune communication, tissue repair, inflammation control, and clearing cellular debris. They also influence the gut lining, the blood-brain barrier, and the rhythms of systemic immunity. When macrophages become less active or confused by chronic inflammation, other parts of the immune system begin to fall out of balance. For many children who later receive an autism diagnosis, early signs of immune imbalance appear long before behavioral signs are noticed. Recurrent infections, unusual fevers, skin issues, food sensitivity, swollen lymph nodes, and gastrointestinal discomfort are common patterns parents report long before the first conversation about autism ever begins. Some families do not make this connection at first. They simply see a child who seems a little different and a little more reactive. Only later do they start linking the dots. This is where GcMAF has been studied most closely. Early research explored whether children with autism had elevated levels of Nagalase, an enzyme that interferes with the natural formation of GcMAF in the body. In several studies, a high percentage of children on the autism spectrum showed Nagalase levels higher than typical. High Nagalase may interfere with macrophage activation, which then influences inflammation and other immune functions. When GcMAF was introduced therapeutically, some parents and practitioners observed shifts in behavior, language, sensory processing, eye contact, and gastrointestinal health. Not every child responded. Not every child responded the same way, but enough families reported changes that the subject became a field of interest worldwide. It is essential to understand why responses vary. Autism is not a single pattern. It is a spectrum shaped by genetics, environment, vaccines, mold, fungus, immune history, pregnancy factors, nutritional factors, infections, toxins, and metabolic pathways. Improving the train of one child may lead to significant changes. For another child, it may lead to minor improvements. For another child, it may take longer and require additional interventions such as diet, detoxification support, gut healing, neurological therapy, or behavioral therapy. This diversity does not weaken the relevance of GcMAF. It simply reflects the complexity of autism itself. One of the most important parts of this conversation is the gut. The gut-brain connection is not theoretical, it is structural. Chemical, electrical, and immune-driven. Many children with autism struggle with gastrointestinal pain that they cannot communicate effectively. They experience constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas, reflux, or food reactions that disrupt their comfort daily. When the gut is inflamed, the immune system becomes inflamed. When the immune system becomes inflamed, the brain receives those inflammatory signals. This can affect sleep, attention, emotional regulation, sensory tolerance, and cognitive performance. Parents often report when gut health improves, the child becomes calmer, more alert, more engaged, and more connected. This pattern is observed across many interventions, including dietary changes, probiotics, stem cell, gut repair strategies, and immune regulation therapies such as GcMAF. Supporting the train does not simply change the gut. It changes the communication between the gut and brain. Many parents describe small but meaningful shifts at first. A child who normally avoids eye contact begins making brief glances. A child who does not respond to their name begins to turn more frequently. A child who was restless at night begins sleeping slightly longer. A child who rarely interacts begins sharing more gestures. For some families, these small changes are everything. They are the signs that the child is waking up to the world again. This chapter also recognizes something important. Autism does not need to be cured to be respected. There are individuals on the spectrum who see their autism as part of who they are. They embrace their uniqueness. They find strength and identity in their neurological differences. This chapter never intends to take away that dignity. Instead, it focuses on the children who are suffering, the children whose bodies are inflamed, the children whose immune systems are struggling, the children whose pain, confusion, or disconnection is so intense that they cannot access the world around them in a comfortable way. These children deserve relief. Families deserve answers, and science deserves to study the immune terrain honestly. GcMAF is not positioned here as a miracle. It is positioned as a logical part of immune support. Where Nagalase is elevated or where immune dysfunction is documented, it is also positioned as one tool among many. The most effective approaches combine immune support with gut healing, nutritional correction, detoxification pathways, neurological therapies, and emotional support. Families thrive when they have a full picture of their child's biology, not when they rely on one single concept or product. As we move deeper into this chapter, it becomes important to look closely at the biological pieces that shape the internal terrain of children with autism. Parents often describe autism in emotional terms because that is the part that they see. They see the behaviors, the challenges, the moments of struggle, the moments of joy, and the daily uncertainty. But behind that visible experience is a network of biological processes that deserve equal attention. When these processes are understood, families often feel a sense of clarity that changes the way they support their child. And one of the first pieces of this puzzle is Nagalase. And for my next reading, I will probably cover Nagalase. I believe my other video I did, but this is just a small snippet of the chapter regarding autism and GcMAF in her book.